Okay, welcome back, guys. Back onto the YouTube channel. It has been a minute, more than a minute. Yeah, Mr. Consistent over here. I think if you look back on the last video within this little prep series, I said something probably along the lines of, yeah, I really want to document my bodybuilding prep. I don't see too many people doing that. And I want to give an insight as to the highs and lows of what going through a natural bodybuilding prep looks like, especially from a first-timer's perspective. Here we are, 11 weeks deep. I think the last video was at 2 weeks deep, which is great. It means we've got loads to catch up on. It means we've got loads to fill in that big gap. Today I'm going to treat this, I might, you know, steal a little bit from the content playbook of Mr. AJ Morris, the godfather of natural bodybuilding, the Don, as some may refer to him as. Don't think anyone does, but there we go. Maybe that's the title that he should adopt. I'm probably going to film, you know, workout clips today and stitch this recording over the top. Maybe speak a little bit on how training's been going, but just more. I really just want to kind of go into how the experience has been so far, what is maybe different from diets that I've done in the past, because I've obviously been living a bodybuilder's lifestyle for probably the best part of, you know, 6, 7, maybe more years. I've been doing the do, but about 60% capacity, and only in the last nearly 2 years now have I really turned that dial up to the maximum, because that's what this whole journey started from, was me asking myself the internal question, right, Liam, what is it that you're not doing that you could be doing that would maybe take you to that level that you're seeking, that you've not explored yet? And here we are, a long time later. So we'll kind of just dive in, and I'll let the clips play in the background to give you something to distract yourself from my annoying voice. But yeah, so 11 weeks in, things have been smooth. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think as an individual, when it comes to things that pertain to me and that I relate to myself being proud of, which is usually a performance-based activity, you know, and it's really the onus is on me to bring it. I do have that competitive nature, and I do have the ability to flick a switch in the back of my head that just allows me to tap into this, I guess, untapped potential. I think a lot of people struggle with intrinsic motivation, whereas for me, there's not even a question there for a lot of things, and a lot of times, especially when it comes to, you know, bodybuilding goals, and that's what I'm chasing right now. Previously, it's been marathon goals. Previously, it's been, you know, strength goals within the gym. Or even something more superficial like, hey, I just want to get shredded for summer. I have the ability, and have done for the longest time that I can remember, to just flick a switch and switch lanes and go into that mode. So it's been pretty smooth sailing. With that being said, I've been stricter on myself during this process than any other previous diet. So, and I mean, and it's showing, you know, I'm answering a lot of the questions right now that I had at the start of this process, which was, you know, I would used to have a cheat meal every week, even in a diet phase. And then I'd think, like, why am I not as lean as I'd like to be? Why am I not as lean as I see other people getting? And you take that away and you just eat the same things day in, day out, and don't miss a beat with your expenditure and everything else. And lo and behold, you get more shredded and you preserve more muscle tissue as well. So unfortunately, for anyone out there who's looking for that quick fix, or looking for the, how do I look like a bodybuilder without following the lifestyle? You can't. Unless you're the genetic 0.1%, you can't. You know, and those people do exist. The people who get out of bed, smash a pizza, and still have an 8-pack. They exist. Chances of you being one of them, very slim. So, you know, get up and outwork them. But yeah, the process so far has been really smooth. Like, communication with myself and Zach has been exactly kind of how I want it to be. Very just like back and forth. He's very aware of where I'm at. I think, like, mentally, I've got quite a strong fortitude, and I can take a lot of, you know, we'll call it self-punishment. I mean, it's not even that deep, to be honest, at the minute. Like, realistically, I'm still eating, you know, plenty of food to get by on. I'm still not having to do too much cardio, not having to do too much expenditure, and everything's pretty chilled. Let's just pull into the petrol station here. We're gonna get some fuel and then carry on this little vlog. I'll be right back. I don't even know where I left off that last segment. That gives you a little bit of an idea as to the way my brain actually works. Very, very forgetful in the short term. Not too bad at like long-term memory stuff, but short term, if a cool breeze goes by, I forget what I was doing. I suppose let's just dig into a little bit of the pros and cons so far. So, in terms of what's been going well, training has been like amazing, considering where I'm at in prep and where I thought I would be in terms of my training. Like, specifically leg training, I've put such an emphasis on retaining the strength that I've built there. I think I'm almost confident now in saying that, I said this to Zach like months and months and months ago. I said, like, just watch, I'm going to put the work in and my legs will not be a weakness on stage. And I'd like to think that we're almost getting there. Like, you know, that they were never going to be, I don't think I was ever up in the running for best wheels on the stage, but to have legs that can kind of match my upper body and be proportional, that's what I was looking to achieve, and I'm confident in saying that I've done that for myself and from my perspective. The judges might have another opinion, but, you know, subjective sport at the end of the day. So training as a whole has been really, really good. I had a dip last week or the week before, and that led to us sort of thinking, right, well, let's throw a deload in there. My body responded really well to the deload, and then this week, so far, training back up full capacity, things have been all groovy. Diet side of things is fine as well. Like, I'm not someone who gets overly emotional when it comes to what I'm eating. Like, I describe this to some of the lads that, like, my mates that I play Xbox with. Right now, like, the satisfaction of satiating hunger is what I look forward to more than the flavour of the food that I'm eating. And that's not to say that my food isn't flavoursome or flavourful, whatever the word would be. Like, it's fine. I don't have a problem with eating the same things every day. Would I like a cookie? I absolutely would love a cookie. Would I like a burger? I absolutely would love a burger. But right now, the desire and the fire to compete and bring something competitive and something that I'm hands on heart proud of achieving massively outweighs the desire just to have a cookie. And the cookies are going to be there, you know, at the end of this process, the cookies are going to be there, so it's all good. Sleep has been a bit up and down. I've had some good weeks, I've had some bad weeks. Nothing really consistent though. I would say that consistently my sleep is better than it is worse, which is great. Sleep is a very obviously important part of recovering, the most important part probably. And I've been making steps towards making that happen, so it's something that, once again, like, not leaving anything to chance. I'm not an extremist by any means, but taking some ashwagandha, taking some magnesium glycinate before bed, having like a wind down process, which for me consists of watching YouTube videos, and like that does put me to sleep. So one of the things I actually listen to is these it's called Boring History for Sleep, and it's just like any random topic, I whack that on, and within like 10-15 minutes I'm usually drifting off. But every now and then I get caught doom scrolling, like a lot of us do these days, and then my sleep's not so good. And I'd say the difference in terms of, it's a night and day difference, you know. It affects my day the next day in terms of my energy levels, it affects my anxiety levels, and that's something I'm really trying to keep an eye on. So on to, you know, some things that are, the last thing that I guess is a pro. I think I look sick. Like, overall, it's very easy in this sport to become overly critical of your physique because you're trying to work towards something that in your eyes right now is unattainable. Like, I know that the look that I achieve by the time we, are running into peak weeks and like actually stepping onto stage, I know that that look right now is so far away, even though I'm like very probably close, arguably close to the most shredded I've ever been. I'm definitely the leanest with the most muscle that I've ever been. And I look the best that I've ever looked, hands down. Like there's no questioning that whatsoever in my head. But the look that we're going for and the look that we're going to achieve is so far ahead of where we're at that it can often just be you can be quite harsh on yourself. Like I know a lot of people experience this when you take your check-in shots in the morning, you're like, that is shit. And I think it's a really powerful tool to actually lean into that and think a bit more with a realistic head than your self-critical bodybuilding head. Like I did it this morning with my check-in shots. I took them, I didn't pose well, and I knew when I was on my feet, I knew I wasn't posing some of the shots as well as I can. And afterwards, when I was looking back, I thought, these aren't really up to the standard that I would like. And I posted them to Instagram anyway, because that's what, to me, it's all about, is the honesty of this sport and the honesty of this process. And there's going to be days when you just can't get into the pose for whatever reason. But the look, in general, I'm very happy with. And now we've had back-to-back high days. Yeah. It's pretty exciting to see like kind of new detail and new muscle that I've never even seen before. I've got an ab that I didn't know existed. It's not quite popping through yet, but trust me, it's going to come through by the time we get at the back end. I didn't know I had one where it is. So that's pretty interesting. I'm learning a lot about my own body. I guess one thing that I want to kind of talk about is, can you achieve a bodybuilding or a bodybuilder level physique? And by that I mean the physique that I've got, okay? If your goals are higher than that, that's your own prerogative, that's your own measuring stick. I love that for you. I'm speaking to the average Joes out there that will watch this, hopefully, and will think, oh, it'd be great to try and get into the shape that Liam is in. And for you guys out there, I say guys and girls, but mostly guys because I'm a guy. Can you be in bodybuilding shape without following a bodybuilder's lifestyle? The answer is two-part. It's yes and no, really. So what I'm learning is you have to follow a very rigid structure. So your meals, you have to nail that, and preferably the meal timings. Sleep, water, training, those are like the core elements that you have to nail. You have to give it your all in all of those aspects. And as you can imagine with like anything, if you're pouring most of your energy into those categories, things like social life, things like responsibilities to family, things like responsibilities to your partner, they all kind of go to the wayside a little bit. And you've obviously got work on top of that as well. What I'm learning in this prep is that you become really good at juggling. So if you want to retain certain things, like I have, last year when I was in my pre-prep diet, I found that my relationships with people were diminishing, and that's with friends, with my girlfriend, with even my mum, like, who I'm ridiculously close to and always have been. We were really distant, and it's because I was just leaning too deep into the bodybuilding processes and essentially creating excuses for myself that, well, I can't give the capacity that I would like to these other elements of my life because of bodybuilding. And that's wrong. I think going through that is how I learned that it was wrong, and I didn't like the person that I was becoming back then. And that's how I've changed my approach this time around with the prep. I think because the time of a prep is so much longer, it gives you more time to kind of nurture these things and become in a really good routine with them. But yeah, I'm a lot prouder of how I'm treating those around me so far into prep. I imagine there'll come a time when I get a bit snappier, and I will admit that certain things like work stress have started to affect me more than I would like, and that is a byproduct of the bodybuilding lifestyle. So what I would say to answer my own question that I've just gone a very long-winded explanation on is, you can build a bodybuilding-esque physique whilst following the bodybuilding lifestyle, but you don't have to become this rigid bodybuilder that's got a personality like a block of cement, you can still nurture the other elements of your life that you have interests in. It doesn't have to all just be bodybuilding. Let's have a bit of caffeine. On to the next topic. Caffeine intake needs to come down. I'm acutely aware of it. There's a few days, right, where I'll go out for my steps at some point and I'll be thinking, oh my God, like I live in a town that's mostly filled with grannies and lovely people. And I'm walking around as if everybody's watching me. I'm walking around as if the grannies are like judging me and gonna mug me or something. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell am I so anxious? And it's because I'll have had one of these and 2 coffees and probably a scoop of MVP that's rocked my socks off. So I would say that you're a lot just more sensitive to swaying. Is bodybuilding easy? Relatively, it's easy. It's the easiest and also most difficult thing that you'll ever do. And that's because I think it exists in 2 constant states. And that is that, you know, realistically, you make the decision of what food goes into your mouth every day. You make the decision whether to work out or not every day. You make the decision. It's all just decisions. It's like one of those flow charts that we used to do at school where it's like, right, this is the question. Are you going to exercise today? Yes or no? And then you follow the track. But if you just say yes every single time and the question, you know, the answer needs to be yes, then it's pretty easy. And it all is dictated by you. How you manage your time and things, like that's fine. That comes into it. But as long as you've got a good support system around you and people who understand within reason what you're trying to achieve. Because, like, you know, my girlfriend does, some of my friends do, my family, like, I think they get it, but they also don't get it, which I totally appreciate. It's pretty weird. So it's the easiest thing you'll ever do, but then the things themselves to an average person are pretty difficult, going in and absolutely ragging yourself in the gym. But that's what I do it for. I love that element. That's not even a question for me. I feel like when I edit this, I'm going to hate myself because I don't feel like much of that was coherent at all. But I hope it's provided a bit of a scope as to like how I've been experiencing prep so far. Let's try and summarize prep so far in like 1 sentence. So prep so far, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot. I'm enjoying it. Definitely and definitively enjoying it. The competitive fires are starting to light. I'm 11 weeks deep, but the fire is starting to light. The embers are definitely firing away. So that's how I describe prep in a sentence for me right now personally. Now I've got to crack on with the session. I'll film those clips and hopefully put some sort of coherent update together. We'll see how this comes out on the other side. At least, if nothing else, it will be as stated in one of the original videos. Very raw, very real, very uncut. Yeah. Thanks for coming along, guys. Thanks for listening to me waffle on. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully not in another 11 weeks time. Hopefully a bit sooner than that. But yeah, see you then.